Heart of the world, huh? Interesting. I wouldn't call it more of the brain. I wouldn't call it the heart at all, but you sure, buddy? It's supposed to be impartial, right? Wait, where is she right now? Is she about to find Kagate's body? I just thought about that. Is she in the place that they usually are at, or is she at like the main computer place that Makishima them were at when they had the showdown? Oh, you're dead. Well, one step behind him, Kogami. He has to live off the grid somewhere like far away from the city. There's no way that they aren't gonna find him like that soon. Oh, okay. Okay. She's gonna try to recruit a Kane probably. Mmm. And that's what y'all are for? Yeah, that's not. It's not. Okay, then what's your solution? In a practical sense, yeah, okay. Uh, really? I I don't. Hold on. I disagree with that. That what she just said. What they just said. No. That aspect of it I like actually. Do you hate me now? Looking at us. Well, obviously that's kind of a fact. If you get tear away the symbol, like shit's gonna get fucked. Hmm. Wow, you're the lowest risk. Yeah, she's in her beginning stages. She has the most potential though. To be honest, I would hesitate on this too. Because it's not even from like a hurt. I'll talk about this later. Damn, reading you like a fucking book. I wouldn't call it a breakdown. Maybe? I don't know. Maybe. Exactly. I don't know about that, but her potential is being kind of. That makes sense. How very protagonist of you. I like that. I am the shadow of the true self. Oh, I've been understood how you felt, and I kind of agree with them, to be honest. You're talking about Genoza's break. She's fucking breaking. Of course. I'll just fucking kill you. She is a weird case. They've made that abundant. You know goddamn well he wouldn't do this. I don't know why you bushing. How would he get away from us? I mean, even still, even if it's ransacked, I would look at what he has ransacked and what he's fucked with to be like, okay, maybe this is a space where something's there. Maybe this is a space. Like, same footsteps. I wouldn't say testing, but I wouldn't go that far necessarily, but sure. I like how she's already taking the lead. That was kind of nice. A lot happened in this episode, but also nothing fucking happened. Okay. think that she was a little bit too quick on the draw. Um, I think that if she doesn't end up being special in some kind of way, which I feel like she is at this point, like, but you know, I could always be wrong. So if she doesn't end up, and there he is. If he ends up not being special at some like ever, then this is gonna be one of those my problems with this again. She's a bit too quick on the draw. To be fair, she did have the whole. I don't know. This and you could argue that the Sybil knows what the fuck they're doing. And all that shit. So of course, if they pick it correctly, like she'll be the best candidate. So she'll adjust the fastest. And then she also had like her test scores. They reminded us of that. So you could argue she's the literal best candidate for this shit, to the point where it's like, yeah, she would adjust the fastest, the least risk, etc., etc. So if you want to excuse it by that, sure. It was just kind of weird. Like, maybe that was the intended, maybe that was the intended, maybe that was the intended, feeling of the scene in general. That she came in, she was like, I'm boss bitch now, pretty much. And even everybody else was like, oh shit. And then Ginozo was like, oh shit, she reminds me of Kogami or whatever. So it's like, oh, my bad. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I just felt like that was kind of strange. I don't know. It's not like a bad. Sorry, it's not like a bad strange. It's just like it's just fucking weird. Like, like from jump, like she was freaking the fuck out over the Sybil. It's like, think about what just happened. Like if you take into context everything that's happened, this is what, like a few days after Kogami left. It's at least a day. Let's say a few days, right? A few days after Kogami left. Hell, like everything is like back to back to back. Because they said 5 days until the system is completely up, right? So let's say like a week, maybe. This is within a week time span, maybe, of like Makishima's first initial riot and bullshit, to him escaping, to Kogami finding out, to him leaving, and her having to shoot him and all that shit. And then right after that, the system is like, hey man, come here right quick. I'm gonna show you the truth of this world. But I'm gonna shoot all this fucking information, and then I'm gonna give you an ultimatum. And then not only that, you're gonna go into some weird dreamscape in your head. Literally meet everybody that you've met that's of importance, really, like the morals or ethics or whatever. Think about that. Then have like a moral conundrum in your head, and think about that bullshit. And then on your way driving, and then come out of that, probably still fucked up, driving to who knows the fuck where, probably back to your fucking job, get called in because hey, Kogami was here, we got a case, and then be like, bet I'm on my way, and be like, hey Sybil, fuck you, kill me if you want, but I want Kogami if I give you Makishima alive. So you're already making ultimatums and shit. It's like, I get that she toughened up, but this is a bit weird. I mean, I feel like it's, again, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's, if I look at it, I'm just like, that's fucking weird. And I can only go by what it made me feel in the moment, and what I think the timeline is. I could always be wrong, obviously, but I just feel like it. I don't know. She's adjusting too quickly. Again, she could just like, and it's not bad because, like I said, it could be because of her test scores, because the Sybil system knows what they're doing, so they picked the best candidate in all those categories, even though they didn't mention the adjustment period. Really, they were just like, yeah, you had the least amount of risk, and then later on, a bit later on in the conversation, they were like, Yeah, we read your biometrics. You don't like the Sybil, but you can't like throw us away because you know, or you have this certain sense of justice that needs us type beat because we've created the world that you live in now, which forms your sense of justice. So you can't just throw us away, but you hate us. So you're the least risk. It's not even a thing where it's like, yeah, your adjustment period is good, and your mental state is the best for this, and adjusting to the blah blah blah. It's not even that. It's just more of a, yeah, you're the least amount of risk, and we read your scan, and because we read your scan, you were the least amount of risk. So I don't know. They didn't even really bring that up in detail. Maybe they hinted at it. You could argue, I guess, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I would. I don't know. They were all asymptomatic people. We knew that from the last episode or episodes or whatever. I don't know. I don't think I really have anything. Yeah, at this point in time, you detest us and you hate us instinctively, and yet you still cannot deny the simple system's significance and necessity. Sure. If you want to keep this world, sure. You accept that the fact that the current system can be maintained without the Sybil, yeah. If it's necessary, value, standards, you got me. Okay, got it. Okay, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think because most of the episode was just her and the Sybil talking, and then like the last like 10 minutes was just her being like, "I'm boss bitch now. I'm the leader." Pretty much. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that was just mad weird to me. There was one thing I wanted to talk about that I said I was gonna talk about that I just remembered, but I literally forgot again thinking about other shit. Oh yeah, I feel like I was gonna say even I would kind of struggle. Even I, what is it? I didn't mean it like that, but like I feel like I would struggle in this situation as well. Like if they were like, "Hey, do you hate this system? Like, would you get rid of it?" Like I don't mean struggle in the sense that as much as she is struggling because I'm coming from my world into hers. I'm assuming with all my memories and shit because my memories of this world has made me think how I think type of thing and how I interpreted it and how I internalized it. So if you got rid of that of my memories of this world, that I wouldn't be me, right? Essentially, at the very least, you could argue some things, but more or less, memories make you who you are. I feel. But yeah, I feel like me, I would. I'm gonna think about it because at the end of the day, you do need the Sybil if you want to uphold the system that is currently active, and I feel like there is good in that system, but there's a fuck ton of bad. Um, it's kind of like the My Hero thing where it's like I completely agree with Shigaraki, and it's just how I view shit because it's like yeah, there's good in it, and we all see the good in it. People see the good in it. This is why I say Nagito is right as well. We see the good in it. There's good in it everywhere. We see that. There's hopeful messages everywhere telling you can be whatever you want to be, blah, 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 blah. That's cool. We all see that every day, and people preach that until the day they die because that's what they wholeheartedly believe, etc., etc. However, if you're not one of those people, then you see a different side of the world, hypothetically speaking, right? And that's where the Shigarakis come in. That's where the Nagitos come in. Nagito's whole thing was basically his speech. I love the speech. His little speech was basically, yeah, there are hopeful messages everywhere telling you can be whatever you want to be, do whatever you want to do, but that's just not fucking true. That's just not fucking true. Pretty much. I'm butchering the fuck out of it, and if you're curious, you should look it up yourself. But and I haven't seen that speech in so long, so I know I'm butchering it, but like this is what I over time thinking about it. This is just me regurgitating it in a shitty manner. But yeah, it's basically you can be whatever you want to be, you can do whatever you want to do, but no, that's not fucking true. And he adds on his thing because Nagito adds on his thing that that's not true, but also people that try to do that shit, try to live up to those hopeful messages and fail, they're fucking trash. They're trash. You're born ready, and that's it. But all that other shit is taking into account like their universe in that world, blah 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 blah. So that's like game specific, his universe specific shit, like from that game, from that anime, whatever. So I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about the basis of, yeah, we always see the positive light of the bullshit, but nobody ever wants to really address the dark shit. And I guess that's kind of like why I like Shigaraki or Nagito or hell, even Mahito, to be honest, or like Meruem. I'm like, yeah, the system currently is trash. That shit trash, right? So in that sense, I'm like, fuck the civil. This shit is trash. But also, I don't necessarily. I'm not even gonna say. I'm not even gonna say that. I'll say that while I'm like fuck the system, I'm talking about the civil system. um, I will say I do see the good in it, obviously, and there is good in it, right? I feel like if you were to say there's no good in the civil system, that's not true necessarily. But I think that there's a fuck ton of bad, and a fuck ton of shit that's made people numb and not aware and just unable, like they're sheep. Like, I haven't watched Attack on Titan. I'm gonna watch it eventually. I stopped at season 2, but from the bullshit I see from you Attack on Titan niggas, um, y'all on some Eren Yeager shit. I saw one scene, and I know a few things about Attack on Titan. One of the scenes that I saw was Eren being like, you know what I hate most in this fucking world? People that aren't free. And I'm like, oh yeah? And he's like, I fucking hate you, Mikasa. I'm like, I've seen that scene. So it's like, yeah, I would hesitate. I would hesitate as well. But I feel like at the end of the day, I'd keep, in this specific case, I feel like if I had to, on the spot, if I had to decide, like if I had a button and I could decide to whether to keep it or end it, I would keep the civil system. Because at the end of the day, if you I feel like even in our world, I hesitate a lot to, like, if I had the choice to instill the civil system, like snapping my fingers button in it's in place, right? But I feel like even then I hesitate. But in the universe, I would I would keep it. I feel like I would keep it, or at the very least I'm leaning like 70-30 towards keeping it. And I only say that because if you take down the system now, shit's gonna go fucking crazy, and there's gonna about like people have been so. It hasn't been that long since the system has been integrated. We know this. It hasn't been that long, not like hundreds of years type of shit. It's like it's fairly recently. I would say within like a generation or two. It like because people sit around that remember. Not even a generation or two. What the fuck am I talking about? Yeah, because even this old man remembers that shit. So these are like the first generation of niggas like actually brought up in the system. So yeah, like, it hasn't even been that long, but it's just like it hasn't been that long. But look at what it's already done. Look at what the system's already done to the people. Like, do I need to bring up that fucking woman getting beaten, stripped in the fucking street video again? Like, I mean clip or whatever, like episode, like. Fuck, like I look at what it's already done, and I feel like they're so deep in to where they're just sheep now. They don't know what the fuck to do, and if you strip the system away in its whole, people won't know how to fucking like operate. Let alone like fuck that, they won't even want to cooperate. Like there'll be a massive pushback. Like society will be fucked. Like shit would just go crazy. Shit, like death, like there would just be a huge settling point from the spike of bullshit, and it won't end well. Like it just won't. And I feel like even after that, there'll be a huge scar in society because you strip the system away. Like it'll heal, but you can tell that there's a scar there, and there's gonna be a dark spot or like an indent because of the huge chunk you ripped out of it. Because the civil system at the end of the day now, even though it hasn't even been around that long, it's deeply ingrained. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I would probably keep it, and I would try to change the system because hypothetically, hypothetically, keeping it. I mean, not keeping it. Hypothetically, like this, like if you told me about the civil system, from what they tell the public, like what it's supposed to be theoretically, or like from an idealistic standpoint, yeah, that's fine, sure, whatever. I would still maybe have my problems with it, but it would be way less than what I know now versus what it actually is, right? So it's like the idealistic like version of what the symbol is supposed to be, or quote what it's quote actually supposed to be. It's like, yeah, okay, sure, I can vibe with that, but it's just not. And I would have to not have to, but like I would probably, if I were to keep it, I would probably like harden myself to be like, okay, you gotta change this shit. Because there are Shigarakis out there. There are people like that guy that beat that girl and raped her or was about to rape her. The first couple episodes, I forget his name. I think it was like the first episode actually. Um, the guy that with the meds, with the med problem, because the system gave him the wrong fucking meds, and like I went on that whole spiel about how that could have contributed to it because that's the system's job, and how are you gonna trust the system if the system is literally not fucking working, etc. And just yeah, just I would have to change shit, and it would be such a long fucking journey, like, but if hypothetically, right, if I do go down that journey of quote fixing it or trying to fix it, I would have to I would have to be on that Kogami shit where it's like at this point, kind of Kogami, not really, but because it's like I'm too deep at this point. It's just I have to like I have to commit, right? If I were to go down that route in their universe, but yeah, I don't know. Would you keep it? Would you not? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I would hesitate a lot.